the Catholics and the Protestants. You all are fighting, but yet still you can talk and try to negotiate. Can I say you're a hypocrite? You're a Catholic, and we fight the Protestants, and I see you over there doing business with a Protestant. You are a, or whatever this is, whoever's fighting down here. If you all do business together, that don't mean you're a hypocrite because you're intelligent, you're doing business. Nixon or somebody, whatever, see Mao of China, his arch enemy, want to blow up America today, but they still talk and do business and try. Now I'm a hypocrite because I got a white fella working for me in all white country. I'm a hypocrite because I got white fans. This is silly. So why do you read something like this and just say, ain't you contradicting? No, I ain't listening to that. No, I done read you. And I came on you. You ain't used to no black man, and mainly no boxer having no sense. I'm not just a boxer. I'm taught by Elijah Muhammad. I can talk all week on millions of subjects, and you do not have enough wisdom to call me on television. You do not have enough. You are too small mentally to talk on nothing that I represent. I'm serious. You in this little TV show is nothing to Muhammad Ali. And you got some more questions I have, I bet you I'll eat you up right here and there. It ain't no way you can tackle me. All of you are tricky.
It's a Phantom of the Chakra, Slumdog Opera, rap radar 9 right, okay, play a mashup. I went from nothing to something like the planet Earth. I showed these major labels how to make a man from dirt and breathe in his nostrils, fill him up with gospel, leave him at the mountaintop, blasting at the Rothschilds. Who that? J-elect Hulu, man, from the lost land of Moot, sans the Zulu scan, just real black history. Robert Leroy Ripley, believe it or not, I'm gonna spit it till they strip me, crown me with thorns, march me up the hill, crucifix me and ditch me. The rest is all mystery. I'll be in New Orleans making water out of whiskey, casting judgment on the IRS who audited the gypsies. I got the game tipsy, staggering out the club, dropping coins in the jitney, papers of nobility.
Get me on your show and ask me you ready for me? Bud Schoenberg said this was a big bomb. He's gonna drop on me now. Bud Schoenberg said you got white men working in your camp and you're teaching the white man the devil. I'm supposed to be trapped now and look bad. How you gonna trap me? How you gonna get me on the TV and trap me? You can read this damn book all you want. And and my leader is Elijah Muhammad, who preaches the doom of America, and the biggest white people in America, more wiser than you here, they don't tackle us. Now how are you gonna get me on a TV show and get something ready for me? You had to have it all planned. I didn't know you had a book waiting for me and gonna ask me all this. Behind stage is so nice, and you're so oh, we have a nice talk, and then you get me on TV. This is a serious thing you got me with. You are contradicting. You're attacking my religion. You turning white people who are associates like I'm thinking they're devils and I'm mad, and you got me on a TV show that's serious, and this is a death question. Suppose I couldn't answer that and you had me cornered. That's what I said. Like what? Yeah, you laugh now because I caught you.
Peace, power, and prosperity, y'all. Let me know if y'all can hear me, if the audio was good. I had some technical issues. Pardon me for the lateness. I haven't been around in a while. So I wanted to tap in, before the fiscal new year. Check in with the family, see how you're doing. No slides today. This is strictly going to be off the heart, from the soul, and just kind of a review of the year a little bit and some of the lessons, we can learn. This year was a 7-year, but let me first shout out the people that are in the building first, acknowledge y'all, man. Thank y'all who supported. Thank all the new subscribers. Channel is building, it's growing. I appreciate that. Means a lot to me. Shout out to Philip Boone. Shout out to Great Goodness Goddess. Shout out to the Modest Moore, right? And those of you who are ghost watching or will ghost watch in the future. So this particular talk that I want to have is free dome or debt. Free dome or debt, right? And what does freedom mean? In the words of the great singer, poet, prophetess, Nina Simone, right? She stated that freedom means no fear, right? Freedom means no fear. And as we go into this year of 2024, right, this particular 8 year, this year of the dragon, right, according to Chinese philosophy or Chinese symbolism, it is the year of the dragon, right? It's a very significant year. There's a lot of things happening that's happening right now, so let's just tackle some of them, right? There's all sorts of wars happening right now, right? We got the Ukraine joint going down. We got, and there's many that we're not even probably focused on, right? But we got the Ukraine war going, right? We got the issues in the Sudan. We got issues in the Congo, right? We got uprisings in Haiti, right? We have issues in Uruguay. There's issues there, right? There's BRICS, right? Brazil, Russia, Iran, China, South America coming together, right? Iran and Russia just came out with a new currency, which they're using on their own, right? There's a rise of cryptocurrency through the world as the world is destabilizing. So if you guys follow the stock markets, you'll notice that cryptocurrency and cryptocurrency stocks have been rising over the last couple of months because eventually they're going to change the currency because the dollar is not holding the value that it once had. But there's also internal wars, right? Civil wars, right? One of the civil wars, and we know there's a trailer for the movie, right? Leave the World Behind came out and got everybody in a frenzy, right? But the civil wars that are happening here, there's the migrant crisis, right? There's the gender wars that are happening online. There's the, families in disarray. And now, not only that, we've had record years of homelessness this year, record years of car repossessions, foreclosures, et cetera, et cetera. So this year, this 2023 year, a lot of people have lost their jobs, right? This year of 2023 has been a year of change, right? It's really been a 7 year, right? If you think of the chakra system and all 7 chakras from the root to the crown, right? Really being a transformative system for the body. This has also been a transformative system for the body because we are going through challenges, right? Dealing with the number 8 that we're going into, the number 8 deals with infinity. And infinity is about life or death, right? Life or death when you're dealing with infinity. Everything dies, right? But nothing really dies at the same time. So even though you may have an ancestor or you may have a family member who passed away, understand that they are also in the spirit world. They exist. There's a star that shines for you in the sky right now. That is you. There's a reflection, as above, so below. So as you are here, right, pumping what they call spirit, right, breathing air, right, existing in this holographic reality, in this 3-dimensional reality, which is a holographic existence based on a fractal universe, and walking in this meat suit, there is a star that shines for you. Same way there is a star that shines for your ancestors. This is why when someone dies, they light candles, whether they know why or not. Even a savage in the hood, right? If their man dies or gets shot, they're going to light candles for that person because those candles represent a pathway back to that star, right? Because the ultimate goal when you pass away is to go into the land of Amenta, as the Cometians described, right? AKA the field of reeds, and to reincarnate as a star and eventually power your own universe, right? There's multiple universes out there. So when people talk about the aliens and things like that, yeah, there's aliens, there's multiple Earths, right? There's multiple solar systems, right? There's some solar systems that look just like this, that are direct reflections of this. You've had dreams where you've dreamt something, right? And it seemed like you were actually lucid dreams where you felt like you were actually living in that existence. You were actually in another existence, in another life, acting out in a different way. In movies, they call it the multiverse. For me, it's just the universe. Okay. So we are always connected from the above to the below. This year also, we've had a crazy solar flare activities. all right, where we've had the past couple of weeks, I think we had the strongest solar flare in existence 2 weeks ago, as recorded existence, right? Meaning that these are solar energies hitting the planet. Whenever you hear something solar, you have to think that it's beneficial for the soul within you, because we are light beings. Coming into 2024, what's going to happen, what's happening is there's going to continuously be battles. These battles are not going to end because the fiscal year changed. All right. Also tonight, New Year's Eve, what's happening is there's a ball dropping here in New York City. What the ball represents is the star Sirius, right? That is right. And the star Sirius is the brightest star at midnight. Wherever you are, wherever you live, West Coast, East Coast, whatever, at midnight, the star Sirius is the brightest star. And after the first, it's the brightest star every night. Let me not say that. But in the night sky, what it's going to do is going to rise at its highest. So the star Sirius is a folklore to the Dogon tribe, right? Representing the Nomo, right? Representing our creative ancestors, our spiritual ancestors, who took a lot of the ancient teachings of ancient Samaria, ancient Kemet, and brought them, into quote unquote modern society, right? To where they can extract some of these lessons, and we still have those teachings today, and people have studied their teachings, right? So there is a celestial event happening this year. It's not just or every new year where that star Sirius rises. So that's what the ball drop represents. But after the ball drops, right, you're going into the fiscal new year. A lot of people are going to be drinking, right? Partying, getting drunk, turning up, right? I've been there. I know. I understand. I'll be in the house myself, but I've definitely been there. And I'm not saying that that's something you shouldn't even be doing, right? There's nothing wrong. If that's what you decide to do, that's what you decide to do. But do realize that coming into 2024, it's going to be a war for your mind, right? And it always is a war for your mind. Don't get me wrong. But it's going to intensify. When you see all these wars happening on Earth, it signifies change. This signifies new energy coming on the planet. This signifies that old things going to have to die and new things are going to have to arise. This is not just with the wars or with the terrestrial world or the physical planet. You have also felt these urges within yourself, because I know I have, and I've done a lot of spiritual work over the years, right? Or close to or over 20 plus years of spiritual work off and on, right? Because we all go through our ups and downs. Don't believe these people on YouTube that appear perfect. They're going through ups and downs as well, right? Life is not perfect for any of us, no matter what we know. If we know how to burn bay leaves, right? We got altars, we're wearing crystals, whatever. You're still going to have to elevate, because life and the universe is constantly expanding. And the universe is one verse or one song. So universe is constantly expanding, and we are all one. So this is why a lot of times when things happen, we feel it at the same time. When there's a full moon, we all feel that energy, right? We're in tune with that heightened energy. There's people in my building who fight every new moon, every full moon. They don't know that it's the full moon, right? They're not in tune, they're not tapped in, but that energy resonates because they're always fighting around the full moon, right? It's amazing. But this is what happens on the planet that we are on right now. And this is what's happening. The battle, the war for your mind is going to intensify, especially since we have a thing called social media, right? Social media is a blessing and a curse out here, all right? It's a blessing and a curse. And the reason it's a blessing and the curse is because you can network, you can connect with beautiful, intelligent, prosperous, wise, powerful people. You can meet your wife, you can meet your husband, you can meet your next business partner, you could connect with somebody that'll help you become a millionaire, multimillionaire, right? If you play your cards right. But if you're not focused on those type of things, this will also make you hate men, social media. It'll make you hate women, right? It'll make you look down on people that are younger than you, right? It'll make you be obsessed with entertainers and actors, right? It'll make you have a perspective of nihilism, that the world is coming to an end, that everything is bad and everything is evil, right? Social media could be a very wicked place, especially with people's commentaries about people's lives and how they live and how judgmental it could be, right? So it is a gift and a curse. And all these things are going to ramp up. What we have to do, family, is those that are doing spiritual work, those that want to become better people, those of us that have love in our hearts, those of us that have joy in our hearts, those of us that are trying to manifest our businesses, right? Or ascend in our careers, or be better parents to our children, be better fathers, be better husbands, be better wives, be better sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins, etc., etc. You really have to have a clear focus and a clear direction on where you're going and what you're going to be doing. Where you're going and what you're going to be doing. That is called a purpose, right? You cannot walk into 2024, and the real new year, of course, we know is in the spring. But the spring is when, things grow, right? That's when there's more sunlight on the planet. You got the spring equinox on the 21st, right? So that Aries season, right? Easter comes after that, right? That's when things grow. So that is really the real new year, right? Not January 1st. That's the real new year, is March 21st. But the fiscal new year is starting now. But when coming into this fiscal new year, this is a hibernation period. All right. This is when bears, right now, it's winter time. So this is when you don't see too many insects, right? Depending on where you live, right? But even most places where you live, you're not going to see a lot of mosquitoes and flies and, things like that. Animals, most of them are in hibernation right now, right? This is the time you are supposed to be going within, learning something, studying something, right? Gaining more knowledge about something, right? Reading, research, going within self, all right? You have to build up, as they say in the church, your breastplate of righteousness, your spiritual armament, and be ready for what's going to take place next year. You have to be ready for anything that could happen. You have to be prepared, right? This is not a year where you could go into this fearful, full of anxiety, full of depression, full of stress. If you have that now, it's okay. We all have challenges. We all have things we're going through. But what you want to do is have a plan, have a purpose. I did my last long ass video where I was talking about, the different things that you have to tap into, learning how to meditate effectively. Everything starts with the primordial mother, the primordial womb, right? Which is the true self, the inner self, the spirit self, the soul self. Everything starts with the inner self. So you have to go within in order to see things present themselves in the outside world. As far as manifesting anything, you're not going to get what you want. You're going to have to get who you are. You only get who you are, rather. So what you resonate with from your soul, from your electromagnetic field that's pumped out from your heart, is what is going to attract, in what you're going to attract physically, materially, emotionally, spiritually, financially. It's not going to be enough as we continue to ascend in the fifth dimension for you to just light a bay leaf, for you to just have cinnamon and nutmeg and just the money drawing herbs. They're going to present, yes, you do these things, they're going to present opportunities. You could get a book, Cunningham's Book of Herbs, right? My last video, the long ad, go check that. I dropped everything in there that you could get to learn how to work with herbs, how to tap into root work, right? how to be able to conjure, right? Because we need to get back to indigenous spirituality, right? AKA the occult, AKA New Age, right? But it's not New Age, right? It's indigenous spirituality. These are things we've been doing for thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not millions of years, right? The bones of Lucy found in Africa are millions of years old. So we've been tapped in studying the stars, right? The Dogons knew about the star Sirius before there was any type of telescope, any type of instrumentation where they could see, and they would still eat or see past the firmament of the earth, but they were still able to exactly pinpoint. Your ancestors were able to build pyramids, right, that were exactly in the middle of the earth and aligned with the stars of Orion, the Great Pyramids. Okay, your ancestors, the ones that are Americans, this is for the FBA people and the ADOS people, your ancestors were able to follow the North Star from Georgia, Texas, right? Some people were going to Canada to find freedom. No GPS system whatsoever. Some were going to New York City in the East to find work, right? Without the heavy lash of the slave master on the plantation, right? Still dealt with racism, right? And racial violence, but they didn't have GPS. They had to rely on their internal powers, their instincts. And a lot of this we have gotten rid of, tapping into our instinct, tapping into our intuition, tapping into our gut feeling, our natural alarm system, to where we're able to recognize what's good for us and recognize what's not good for us. Sometimes you could walk into a room, you know, y'all done this, right? Sometimes you could walk into a room and you walking into a room and you could feel the presence, right? Your gut will tell you something's off. Or you could be around a person that you just met and your gut will tell you something's off, right? Something's not right. We need to learn to listen to that. We need to learn to tap into that. And if that is so, or if your gut is telling you everything is cool and you have reservations or you have inherent fears, you need to tap into your gut and ask yourself, is this the place I should be, or is this not a place I should be? Because this is what your ancestors did. They didn't read a million books. They didn't have a ton of libraries. They didn't have Bobby Hemmett or T.D. Jakes or Joel Osteen or Brother Panic or whoever or whomever, right? Whatever your favorite speaker is, whatever your favorite teacher is. They didn't have any of that. All they had was their inner self, their soul, and their spirit to guide them. And they had to tap into that. And whether it's through prayer, whether it's through the Christian church back then, we don't want to judge them, right? Because they used what they had to get to where they are so we can be here right now on YouTube talking shit. All right. This is the genesis of our ancestors, right? We kind of look at them we look at them from how do you say, as superheroes, sort of, and they are, right? But we often don't realize what little that they had to work with versus what we have to work with. We are on the rise of the divine feminine, ladies and gentlemen. That is a fact. But the key is divine feminine, right? And guess what? Everyone has divine feminine, which is the yang or the yin part of themselves, right? And you have the divine masculine, with this, which is the masculine part of ourselves, okay? In order to tap into your three brains, one which I just discussed is your gut. Now I'm getting into your second brain, which is connected to your heart, right? Your heart chakra, your intuition. In order to tap into this second brain, right? You're going to have to, men, tap into that divine feminine part of yourself, which is that yin part of yourself, which is that primordial mother essence, which is that womb essence, which is that essence of learning how to be caring, right? Learning how to let things go, learning when war is needed, when war is not needed, and to release the reliance on the ego, the reliance on I'm the man, the reliance on I'm better than you, the reliance on let me stud on them. Now, these same qualities a lot of women have too, okay? So this is not something that women don't, oh, I'm just a woman, I'm a woman, I'm good, I don't got to do nothing. We're in the era of the divine feminine, so I don't have to do shit. I just got to be a woman and walk around. We all know there's women out here that are savages, right? We all know that there's a difference between Coretta Scott King and Sexy Red. We know there's a difference between Betty Shabazz and Sukiana. We could see low and high vibrations in women, right? There's women out here who try to set dudes up, right? And there's women out here who abandon their children. There's women out here who are abusive. There's women out here that molest men. So the rise of the divine feminine, you can't just rest on your laurels as a woman. You have to do the internal work of discovering what divine femininity is. Thankfully, our ancestors have left us icons in various religions. Okay, whether we're talking about Mary, which is really a representation of Orset, right? Or Isis. Whether you're talking about a Rusli Dantor, if you're talking about a voodoo religion, right? You have Ma'at, you have Het Heru, you have Oshun, you have Yemaya, right? When you're working with these spirits for whatever you're working with them for, whether you're in prayer, right? For whatever you're praying for, your goal should be to tap in to the highest part of your character that is represented in these gods and deities, which means you walk around as such when you are working with these particular energies. You don't just have an altar and sit them there. You don't just say a prayer and wait for something to happen. This is a year 2024, the number 8. It's an infinity loop of building and destroying. If you're not building your inner temple, because ye are the temple of God. This is what the Bible says. I'm not just making this up, right? This is what the Bible is saying. Do you not know that ye are the temple of God? The church is not there to save you, right? No one's going to save you but you. Quick story. There was a serial killer, right? Serial killer named the Iceman. Popular serial killer, mafia hitman. And there was a story that he told, right? We'll get back to divine feminine and masculine, divine masculine next, right? And the story that he told was he had a gentleman that he had, right, mafia hit. He had tied up to a chair, right, was ready to blow his brains out. And the guy that he tied up, the guy was like, oh, please, don't kill me. Don't shoot me. Please, oh God, please, God, Jesus, oh my God, Jesus, oh my God, please, Jesus, oh my God, right? So Iceman, right, he says, okay, this is him telling the story, right, in the documentary. Documentary's on it, you can find it. And he takes his gun, he says, okay, you're praying to God, you're asking Jesus to help you. He says, I'm going to go in the other room. He says, if Jesus comes and saves you, I'm not going to kill you. He says, I'm going to give you an hour. If God comes and saves you, you're good. I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to give you some time for you to get saved. So, nevertheless, God or Jesus didn't come. And this is what he said. He said, God never came. So I had to blow his brains out, right? This is life, right? Right? This is life. No one's coming to save you. The Andromedians are not coming to save you. The Palladians are not coming to save you. The people from Nibiru and Planet X are not coming to save you. The people from Planet Risk, if you believe in that shit, are not coming to save you. Jesus is not coming to save you. All right. If Jesus was going to come to save you, would have came during slavery, he would have came during the pandemic, right? He's not coming to save you. There's enough evidence to prove that that theory is just a myth. And if you're looking at Jesus as a literal person, right, then you have to ask yourself why. You have to ask yourself why nobody's walking on water. You have to ask yourself why nobody's feeding themselves today with 2 fishes and 5 loaves of bread, right? You have to ask yourself why there's nobody running around healing the sick. We have to start analyzing these myths and see how they pertain to us in real time, not what they represent, not I'm in this religion or I'm in this organization and I am better than you because I am, or I am more powerful. No, we're going to have to unify with people, because when America, and as America continues to fall, right, Babylon is falling. Babylon is falling. Even here in New York City, there are buildings that are literally falling, that are sinking. Buildings that are 70, 100 years old that are literally sinking. There's garages, right, with hundreds of cars that's sinking. Okay, falling into the ground, literally, right? I don't even want to go to Manhattan. Like, I try to stay out of Manhattan as little as possible, right? Harlem, that's pretty much, if I gotta go to Manhattan, I'll go, but I try to stay out of there, because Manhattan is just, right now, this is just, with the energy and everything, it's just not really the time, and there's just a lot of things happening. In New York, there's 1,500 migrants a day entering New York City. 1,500 migrants a day, okay? Now, let's go back to the divine masculine. So the divine masculine, we had an era of hyper-masculinity before now. And we're also right now in an era of hyper-femininity, okay? So we have to, again, go back to what the divine masculine looks like. Reflections of what the divine masculine looks like is in your deities and in your deity work, is in the gods and the goddesses. If you're a Christian, then you could use Jesus, right? If you have a Jesus ideation and you just came out, there's El Cristo Negro, right? You could tap into, we know Ogun, we know Horus or Heru, right? There is Shango, right? There's Obatala, which Obatala actually represents the number 8 going in, right? And let's actually look at the principles of Obatala and see what we're going into, because it actually is a representation of this number 8 year that we are going into. So let's do a little reading. So it says Obatala, sacred number and day. The sacred numbers, let me see if there's a picture up here. So Obatala is also shown as, so it says Obatala has both masculine and feminine qualities, all right? And this is what the heart chakra is all about. Let me make sure y'all can see what I'm saying. All right, so this is what the heart chakra is all about. It's about embracing the masculine and feminine. It's about embracing both energies, right? In Hinduism, they call it the Ida and the Pingala, that is going in a circular motion. It actually looks like 8s, which I'll show y'all, right? So there are male, female. So there are female depictions of Obatala, right? And if you see Obatala as a man, you'll also see him with a white dress on, right? What looks like a dress, right? It's very androgynous, okay? So Obatala's sacred number and day, the sacred numbers associated with Obatala are 8 and 16, right? 2024 is 8. Adds up to 8. These numbers are considered especially important and are frequently incorporated in rituals, offerings, and ceremonies involving Obatala. The reason for these particular numbers is deeply rooted in Yoruba numerology and tradition. So the number 8 is associated with balance, harmony, and justice, reflecting Obatala's role as a judge and peacemaker. It also symbolizes the infinite, tying into Obatala's role as the timeless creator and shapers of humans, all right? So we're basically dealing with this part I want to tap into: balance, harmony, and justice, okay? You cannot be talking about you're representing the divine feminine, but you want most of the men in the planet to die. or you're having a vision of most of the men on the planet to die, right? That's not going to make the world better, because we know that there's women that are savages, okay? And if all the men here on Earth were dead, right, go look at the reality shows. That'll tell you all you need to know. That's not going to make the world better, all right? What makes people better is when people change their soul. It's when people embrace light, right? It's when people embrace their godliness. And we all, in occultism, there's a lot of, we don't deal with, let's break this down. There's subjective and objective reality, right? So my subjective reality is when I wake up, right, in the morning at 9 a.m., ain't no sunshine, right? That could be the way I feel. Okay, there's no sunshine. That's my subjective reality, that the sun's not shining. And I could be depressed, stressed out, right? But the sun's not shining. But the objective reality that everybody knows is that the sun is shining, right? When you wake up, whether it's cloudy or whatever, the sun's, it's daytime, right? The sun is out there. It's not nighttime where you don't see the sun. That's the objective reality. The objective morality is what people tell you, these laws where you can't do this and you can't do that, right? These biblical laws, these Islamic laws, right? These laws that are in these Abrahamic traditions, right? Where you can't say this, you can't curse, right? Et cetera, et cetera. But the laws that are subjective, right, are universal laws. This is what you're talking about, the Kabbalion, the 7 universal laws. The law of mentalism, everything is mental. The law of vibration, everything vibrates, nothing stays still. The law of polarity, everything has an equal and opposite pole, going from hot to cold, light to dark, etc., etc. The law of cause and effect, every cause has an effect, which is karma, right? The law of correspondence, as above, so below, right? The law of rhythm, everything has a rhythm. There's rhythms, high rhythms, and there's low rhythms, right? We call that frequency, right? And the law of, did I catch everything? Mental vibration, correspondence, cause and effect, rhythm, and damn, I'm missing one. Shit. What's the last one? Cause and effect, rhythm, gender, right? And gender. Everything has gender, masculine and feminine gender. So there's an aspect of, those are the laws that govern the soul, but they're not laws that govern necessarily they're not laws that are objective, that someone else is giving you or the government is giving you. You can't run red lights and shit like that, right? So the subjective laws are universal, right? Meaning there's a lot of people that say, okay, I could eat what I want to eat, right? All this stuff is going to be in 2024. All this stuff is going to be revealed in you, right? I could eat what I want to eat. I don't have to work out. I'm God, right? I'm God. I can eat what I want to eat. I'll drink what I want to drink. I'll do what I want to do. I could transmute it, right? Now, part of that is true. If you've had a childhood where you've had these great parents, right? You had a father who was in the home, who was spiritual and encouraging you, and, was just a great father that already had a spiritual foundation. And you had a great mother who had a spiritual foundation, who was doing these things, and you came up a certain way, right? But if you came up like most of us did, in the trenches of the hoods, and you got trauma, right? And you didn't have parents that reflected you and your best interests, right? And you didn't have a childhood or, a lifestyle that was concurrent with what you really were or your soul's calling. If you didn't have that, then you're not going to be able to just sit there and transmute your diet, right? It's going to be very hard. And in fact, for most people, that's just not a reality. I would say 99% of people, that's not reality, because most people think negative. Most people are not positive, right? You have to go according to the universal law, meaning if you jump off a building, okay, if you jump over a building that's tall enough, Empire State Building or something, you're going to die. There's no transmuting that. There's no transmuting the cracking of your skulls, your back, and your legs, right? And you leaking on the ground. That's a universal law. It's the same thing is you are what you eat. That's a universal law. So balancing the scales of life is looking at life from a lens of empathy, which is love, which is the heart chakra. The more love that you show, meaning the more empathy, right? We're not talking about a feeling now. We're not talking about just an emotion. This is my ability to put myself in a man's shoes or a woman's shoes or a child's shoes or a teenager's shoes or an adult shoes or an elder's shoes. This is what love is. I'm able to put myself in their shoes, into a murderer's shoes, a villain's shoes, my enemy's shoes, my op shoes, and see it from their perspective. That's what love is. And if you're not at that space, right, you hate women, right? You in the manosphere, you think women are trash. You think black women are this. You constantly talking trash on the internet about women, right? That's going to come back to you in 2024 because you're going to have to build back. You're going to have to build past that perspective in order to be in tune with the God in you. See, we talk about we are gods, right? And it is stated that we are gods. Do you not know that you are gods? That's a fact. You are a God body. You have the essence of God in you. But that is a potentiality, a potential in you. It's only a potential. Everybody has a little spark of God in them, or else you wouldn't be breathing. Spirit means breath. The etymology of the word spirit means breath or air. You would not be breathing if you did not have God in you. There's some people who say you don't have a soul. Well, how do you have an electromagnetic field, right? How are you able to exist without a soul, right? There's no ancient philosophy that I know that I've researched that says that, right? The Cometians have the Ba and the Ka. The Ka is the soul, right? The Ba is the spirit. Okay. So you have a soul, you have a spirit, and your spirit is a conductor of energy. That's what your spirit is. It conducts energy. So spirituality is about conducting your energy to be one like God, right? So let's understand God, right? I am not a polytheist. I don't teach polytheism, even though I deal with deities and quote unquote gods, right? Which are quote unquote angels or angles of light, right? The angels or angles of light the angels are really your ancestors at the end of the day, right? They're people in your bloodline that's helping you, right? Your quote unquote spirit team. That's what your angels are. They're angles of light that you access based on the light that you take in. So a lot of times people like, I'm not just with the love and light shit, and I get that, right? But when you're going to, even if you're going to war, even if you're going to a battle, right? There has to be an aspect of love for yourself. There has to be an aspect of light for yourself to want to protect yourself, right? We all know people that have been abused or gotten abused, whether it's emotionally or physically or sexually, right? They want to protect themselves. They want to be around people that love them, right? They want light in their life. You want good people around you who have morals and have compassion and are able to see past your human flaws and your human limitations and help you and assist you and care for you and speak life into you. That's what we all want. We all want neighbors that are peaceful. We all want to go to schools and know our children are protected and are being educated properly. We all want to be able to leave our kids around our family members and know that they're safe and nobody's going to hurt them, touch them, or abuse them. But you have to be first and foremost a representative of God. You have to be a representative of the divine. And there's only one universe, one verse. Whether you're talking about Amen Ra, whether you're talking about Oludumare, right? In all ancient spiritual systems, there's always one main character. There's always one main character, right? And that main character is like an ocean. And we are little drops of water in that ocean. But if you don't turn on the motherfucking faucet, right, that water starts to evaporate slowly and slowly and slowly over your life. and you're not able to be in a flow state towards what you want to manifest, what you want to create, and most importantly, who you are going to become. Because who you are going to become and your contribution to the world based on your purpose is all that really matters. Your main purpose on the planet Earth is to become a reflection of the divine, a reflection of God. And in being a reflection of God, there is no biases. Do you imagine if a human, you, person watching this, was able to control the sun, the moon, the stars, right, on your own as an individual, and you had a breakup, right? You broke up with your girlfriend, you broke up with your boyfriend, right? But you could control the sun and the stars and the moon. Let's not even go that far. That's above. Let's go below. You can control your physical body. You can control whether you eat, whether you poop, whether you sleep, your cellular regeneration, right? The growth of your hair, your respiration, your ability to process the individual words I'm saying now into holes in your brain, into whole sentences and whole concepts and understand them. Imagine if you were able to control all those aspects, but you went through a breakup. Boy, a lot of people would be dead. It's bad enough people go into relationships and they break up and they don't eat and they stay in the bed. But imagine if they control the sun and the moon. There'd be no rainfall. There'd be no crops. Oh, my girl broke up with me, bro. We ain't gonna have rain for the next month, bro. I'm raining inside. Oh, my nigga broke up with me. Sunshine, fuck that. We ain't gonna have no sunshine. Maybe for a couple of years till I get over it. Till I fuck these niggas, right? I hate men. We ain't gonna have no sunshine because I hate men, and I need them all. I need them to die, right? And vice versa. I hate women. I need them to die. You would die if you control every aspect of you. Your subconscious that propels your autonomic nervous system and its functions, circulation, digestion, respiration, your skin epidermis being repurposed every so often, right? The hair growth. If you control everything. So we don't want to get gassed up when we call ourselves gods, when we call ourselves divine beings. We don't want to be egomaniacs. And you see this with a lot of people, right? Once they start becoming popular on YouTube and they have a lot of knowledge and they're great orators and they start blowing up, they start getting money, you start to see the ego play in. And one of the first things you'll see when these people get pushback from their followers or whatever, because they start to notice their changes and how they're are more in their ego, right? They will start to say, I'm God, right? I'm God. And there's various characters where you could look at, right? I don't have to tell you who's gone crazy, who's gone to prison, right? The first thing they start to say is, I'm God, and nothing can happen to me. And then something happens to them shortly after. Once they start making those declarations, something happens to them. They're in prison, right? Or they're caught up in some scandal, right? Because they're caught up in their ego. And the ego is going to separate you from and this all ties now back into your intuition, your ability to see things before they happen, your ability to feel things before they happen, your psychic abilities, your spiritual gifts. The intellect, the third brain, is actually the weakest of them all. Yes, I know the pineal gland is in there, and I know we've romanced the pineal gland to death, right? But there's so many more functions to the brain besides the pineal, the pituitary, the hypothalamus, right, et cetera, right? All those are functions of what takes place in the heart. In fact, there's more connections from the heart to the brain and from the gut to the brain than there is from the brain to the heart and to the gut. Your gut and your heart is what powers your brain. That is really the Holy Trinity within. So that, well, how you behave, your character, right, is what's going to determine what you manifest, how you interact with people, the people that interact with you. There's nothing better for me, my brothers and sisters, than when I walk down the street and strangers say hi to me. It's one of the indicators that I know I'm on my journey heavy, right? How you doing? In New York City, of all places, we don't say hi to no motherfucking body. We don't say good morning to nobody. Scarlett told y'all that, right? We don't. That's not something that we do. So when strangers do that, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm vibing high. They're seeing something in me where they just want to say hi, right? But this comes from, me understanding what love really is. This is not something popular people talk about on YouTube. Love. What really is love? Because people think it's a feeling. Oh, she put it on me. Oh, he dicked me down. Oh, I'm in love. She got money, or he got money, or she got a nice body. He's financially successful. Let's get in. We're in love. He says sweet nothings. She's saying sweet nothings. We're in love. Let's start taking a bunch of selfies on Instagram. Everybody looks happy. Right? You with your baby, right? And everything looks joyous until it doesn't, right? And we've seen that with the celebrities, right? This year, with the celebrity relationships that people looked upon, and people who had goals and they were hashtag goals fall the fuck apart. Because love was not there. There was never any real empathy for the person, real compassion for the person. They were not able to really put themselves in that other person's shoes and say, look, okay, look, I'm a man, my baby, she going off today. She in her feelings. Let me take a walk or whatever. I understand she's a woman, man. She might have had a hard day. She saying some crazy shit to me. I ain't gonna pop off on her. I ain't gonna hit her back with the same energy. I'm not gonna get my lick back, which is what's popular right here on the internet. I'm not gonna get my lick back. I'm gonna love her for real, because I understand who she's coming from. See, people say overstand all a lot right now, right? But we're not talking about overstanding. We're talking about understanding. That's love, getting under something, within something, right? When you're under it, you could stand on it. I could stand on if my girl's flipping out, right? And say, yo, she's flipping out. All right, let me just, okay. This ain't the time, all right? Now, this is not to say you don't check disrespect, right? This is not to say you don't say, yo, listen, okay, this ain't, whatever, But love is me understanding what time it is and trying to put myself in her shoes. You got to do that with your kids too. A lot of y'all be judging y'all children and young people based on 35, 45, 55, 65-year-old perspectives. They don't have that wisdom. They don't have that experience, right? When Chris Brown went through what he went through with Rihanna, he was a young man. I'm not excusing what he did or saying what he did was right. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is how many people and how many families have had sons, right, and daughters who have did things, right, in just youthful exuberance, not really knowing what they're doing, not really understanding consequences. If you really want to tap into the level of your spirituality and the level of your psychic powers and the level of spirituality of whatever type of spiritual psychic powers you want to grab hold on in 2024, whatever you're trying to manifest, whatever you're trying to do in your business, whatever you're trying to do in your career, right? It's better if you understand who you're negotiating with. It's better if you understand your customer and how to tap into what their wants and needs are and present your product or your service the best way you can because you understand them. That's what marketing is really about, right? At the end of the day, or sales, I should say, so being a successful salesperson is understanding your clientele. It's understanding their needs and wants and presenting it in a way that shows what's beneficial to them. not you. Right? Nobody really cares what's beneficial to you at the end of the day. People want to be loved. People want to be cared for. So how you do that is you tap into your inner light. And the best way to tap into that inner light, what I've been telling y'all forever, is to meditate. Okay? Meditation. Spirit is breath. Spirit is breathing. Spirit is breath. I don't care how many books you fucking read. Your ancestors had no books. And they still made their way from Georgia to motherfucking Canada. They had no books. They had no satellite. Your ancestors had no books. They still built pyramids. They still built societies. If you believe in Atlantis, they still built Atlantis civilizations. They still left hieroglyphs that stand to this day. Monuments that stand to this day. That the Western man has copied. If you look at Washington, D.C., you see elements of ancient Kemet, your ancestors that were building. You see the pyramids of South America. You see a pyramid in Las Vegas. And your ancestors didn't have no cranes. They didn't have no John Deeres. They built off of these things off of their connection to the divine and the oneness of the divine and the oneness of what you would call God. You could call it the universe. You could call it Amun Ra. You could call it Amwatala. It's all about oneness at the end of the day. So these are the things that I hope, and watch my other video, it's long, but it has the tools and the techniques, right, which I went into. You can break it up into segments, right? Where I was talking about, meditation, how to do it, connecting with your ancestors, building your altar, right? Journaling, scripting, right? Doing the shadow work, right? And sex magic, okay? Shadow work is very important because with the thing about trauma, and let's get into this, and then I'm gonna close, and I don't want to be too long. I got a reading at 6, but let's look at trauma, because trauma is what keeps a lot of y'all and a lot of us from our divinity and from our godhood. Trauma is what separates you from yourself. What is yourself? If you ask the average person what their self is, right, or who are they, the first thing they're going to talk about is their job, right? They're going to talk about their job. They're going to talk about their career. They're going to talk about what they've acquired or what they have created or the business they're running, right? What have you, or what service they have to offer, et cetera, et cetera. They're going to talk about something external as who they are. But who you are, the self, is unlimited. The self is omnipresent. The self is, omniscient. And the self is omnipotent. Meaning omnipotent, it's all powerful. Omniscient, it knows all. And omnipresent, it's everything and everywhere all at once. Go watch that movie if you haven't watched it. Okay? That breaks it down to the science, and it deals with trauma as well. When you have trauma, sexual, physical, emotional, psychological trauma, what that does is is something that happened to you from the outside, right? And 99.9% is happened during childhood. 99.9% it happened during childhood. It's something that happened to you from the outside, right? And you couldn't protect yourself. You couldn't pour the love into yourself that you needed because you didn't have the tools at the time and you didn't have the wisdom or the experience, right? You weren't safe. You weren't protected. You were violated, right? And it probably was repetitious and over time and over years. And of course, that's your parent, right? So it's a Stockholm syndrome type of thing. Or it could have been a family member or a friend of the family, right? Or somebody, a boyfriend coming in, or, a girlfriend coming in, because boys get molested a lot and it's not talked about, right? Boys get molested a lot. And it's very rarely talked about. So it could have been aunties, whatever, right? So because these things happen to you externally, guess what? It takes you away from you cultivating your internal powers, which is the power of spiritual protection, right? Which is your internal powers, the powers of intuition, right? Natural instincts, right? And it reversed it to where everything started being about the external and protecting yourself from the external and using external means to do it as much as you can. Now, some people create different, what they have called multiple personalities, right? Some people just fall into the situation, right? Some people are suicidal and commit suicide, right? There's a lot of things that happen when you're going through stress and when you're going through the struggle of, childhood and childhood trauma. But within you are resources to combat that now as an adult. What happened, happened. You can't change that. The best you could do now is to not be like the person who abused you, is to not be like the person who hurt you. That's what you could do. And also to protect those in your family that may be going through that, and also to use your platforms, right, to educate others on how to protect themselves from certain traumas that you've gone through and how to heal from certain traumas. But you're an adult now. You're grown. You're not with your parents anymore. You're out the house. You're moved on. You got your own jobs. You're making your own money. You buy your own shoes and sneakers, right? You drive your own cars. You're paying your own mortgage and insurance and rent, right? So now it's not about the trauma anymore. It's about healing from the trauma. How do you heal from the trauma? Well, you have tools such as nature, right? Taking nature walks, journaling, again, working with the deities, not just petitioning the deities for something, okay? Working and connecting with your ancestors, okay? Not just always petitioning them for something like a beggar, okay? Connecting with your higher self, right? Eating high vibrational foods, green foods and fruits, adding those things to your diet, taking certain supplements, right? That'll enhance your spiritual powers. I'll give you one right now for free because the membership is coming in 2024. There's certain things I want to tell y'all and certain things I'm just not going to give y'all for free. That's just what it is moving forward. But I'll give y'all this. You want your pineal gland to start popping. Everybody talking about the pineal gland, right? Start taking one of these in the morning. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional, right? So do your due diligence. If you have high blood pressure, right, this may not be something you want to fuck with, right? But this is called L-tyrosine, all right? You pop one of these in the morning, you're going to feel it directly in the center of your brain. Not only that, it's going to give you energy almost like coffee, right? Pop one of these in the morning. I've been using this for a couple of months now, right? Cellular energy, concentration, performance, right? You have tools now. You have the internet. You have things that will help you get past the trauma of your childhood. You cannot, I remember, give you a story. I remember I was dating a woman, right? And she always had an excuse. She still does, right? She reached out to me the other day, had more excuses about some shit, right? But she always had an excuse about something. And her excuse was always tied into some trauma or some drama, right? Always, oh, I went through this as a child. Oh, I went through this as a kid. Oh, I had these boyfriends who did this. Oh, but when it came to anything that had to do with healing or transformation, it was just like, yo, I'm just going to watch YouTube videos and say, to the things I agree with. But you'll never do any inner work. You never take any supplements. You never go to the gym to work out and sweat, right? And get some of those things out of you. You're not meditating and doing positive visualizations and affirmations. You don't have a morning ritual and morning routine. You don't have an evening ritual or evening routine before you go to bed to watch something that makes you laugh. You don't seek laughter every day during the day so that you can keep your vibration high and raised. You know how high vibrational laughter is? You know how high vibrational joy is? and not laughing at the expense of others like most people do, but genuinely just enjoying, whether you're watching Sanford and Son, Martin, or something like that, right? You're not drinking chlorophyll or any green juices. You never, and haven't had a colon cleanse in forever. You got parasites eating up your body as we speak. Of course, you're not going to respect the opposite sex. Of course, you're not going to be able to have empathy for the opposite sex. How can you? You're not purifying the vessel of God. You're not purifying this vehicle. Some of you clean your cars and have cleaner cars and put more work into your car than you do your own body. You got a luxury car. You won't put trash gas in your car. You won't say that you be able to transmute, right, your spiritual asses. You're going to be able to transmute the energy of your car by putting in regular gas in your motherfucking BMW or even your 2020 plus car. You ain't saying your car is going to transmute that with your spiritual ass. But you're going to tell me you could drink tons of Pepsi and Coke every day, right? And eat Popeyes every day, and you're going to be all right and not have no health issues. But see, Rob Blackstone worked in a hospital when I was a kid. So I understand. I've seen fly niggas, people. I've seen people, rich, wealthy people. Because I used to turn on the TVs. I used to put on the TVs and install TVs. Seen rich people. Nobody comes to see them. And some people have families that came to see him, right? But they can't do anything about the cancer. They can't do anything about the diabetes. They can't do anything about the liver failure. And they're just sitting there waiting to die. Rich people, fly people, good-looking people can't pay for it, right? I know Steve Jobs, whatever he died from, I forget, but whatever he died from, he was a billionaire. He had the best doctors in the world. You think he didn't want to live to continue to push Apple forward? Since Steve Jobs died, Apple hasn't even been the same. They really just putting out the same phone. So in 2024, we really got to be serious about doing this work. And really, these next months up to March are going to be critical. They're going to be critical. But the only way out from whatever your problem is, whether it's financial, is going in. Is going in. It's not just going to be the tools. It's not just going to be lighting the candles. It's not just going to be taking the spirit baths. It's not just going to be anything external or finding a rich husband or finding a baddie wife, right? Or whatever, right? It's not going to be waiting for somebody to come or the aliens to come or Jesus to come or somebody to come down and save you or a leader or a new president or a new congressman. Or when Dr. Umar finally builds a school for Black boys. Nothing can save you but you. Nothing can save you but you. My wish for everyone in 2024 is always peace, power, and prosperity. And I would like to add love to that. Because at one point, we were people of the planet that were noble, right? Noble warriors. This is what the movie Black Panther was reflecting, right? Noble warriors who tapped into our indigenous spirituality and used it to raise our energy frequency and vibration and our characters and the way that we interacted with others around the world. And this did not mean that we were no pussies, right? Because we know the earth is violent, right? The earth that we are on, Maya, is violent. Daughter Earth is violent. The universe is violent, right? There's supernovas and black holes that absorb light and planets and stars, right? Black holes, I should say, that absorb light and stars, right? There's all sorts of things. There's tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes that kill sometimes hundreds and thousands of people. Ain't nothing pussy about the planet. Even the Cometians, they had Medjay warriors, right? And when it was time to go into battle, they would honor Set. They would do rituals to Set, right? Which is where you got Satan, right? The word Satan just means deceiver, right? Adversarial deceiver, right? So the trickster archetype, because there is no word called Satan in ancient indigenous language. There is no Satan, there is no devil, right? So the trickster archetype, they just assigned to someone for biblical purposes and purposes of control, to control you. But I'm not anti whatever religion you're down with or whatever religion you choose to support. That's up to you. Okay. But in order to have a free mind, you're going to have to go through the shadow work. You're going to have to go through the work of learning who you are. You're going to have to go through the work of lightening your load, less judgment of other people. You're going to have to be the light. The same way that, again, God, the divine, it rains on the rich and the poor. It rains on the righteous and the unrighteous. The sun shines on the righteous and the unrighteous. The sun shines on the good and the bad. It is indifferent to you unless you tap into it. This is what your free will is. You have 3 stages of being, right? Just like you have 3 brains. The brain, the gut, and the heart, there's 3 stages of being, right? There's all sorts of trinities out here. There's 3 stages of being. You have the stage of being of the animal, the savage, right? Which you see exemplified in the gangsters, the gangbangers, right? The ignorant, the willfully ignorant, the sexy Sukianas, right? All that, right? That is man on his animal-based level, okay? Then you have man. These are the people who read the books, right? Who study a lot, right? Quote unquote secret societies, things like that, who understand man, who understand most of men are animals and sheep-like and manipulate that to their benefit, right? Who don't have any love for anybody but themselves, right? Who tapped into strictly their ego. Now, while this is an individual journey, right? You can't do anything alone. Right? There's nothing you're doing out here alone. Even whatever business you have or going to work, you're working with others in order to make something happen. Right? Your family, you got to work with your family, et cetera, et cetera. There's no such thing as you being a success on your own. Nobody's really self-made, right? There's always some sort of serendipity or something where someone does this or someone gives them an opportunity for that or someone gives them a loan or X, Y, whatever, right? There's always an aspect of something else in the mix to push and propel that person forward, okay? So only you could save you, right? But the purpose of saving you is to impact the planet in some way, shape, or form. You can't just sit in here, I'm God and I don't need anybody else. And that's the ego. You know you need somebody. You know you want a wife. You know you want a husband. You know you want to be around people that make you happy or that you can make happy. You know you like to laugh. You know like you like to have dinner with people that you enjoy having their company. You know you want your kids to be healthy and happy and prosperous. Let's keep it real, right? We want a world that is better. So we have to be a representatives and be God bodies for real, where we're able to have empathy, even for our enemies, right? We have to be able to this is what Brother Panic, those of you who follow, if you see towards the end of his life, he was talking about this in his videos, right? Going to the bodega and having, and ordering a sandwich, right? He used an example, going to the bodega and ordering a sandwich and then Poppy saying, yo, he getting less. I paraphrase, I don't remember exactly, but let's say he was getting a turkey and cheese, and instead of getting the turkey and cheese, Poppy gave him a ham and cheese sandwich, right? And Poppy like, no, you told me ham and cheese. You told me ham and cheese, and not flipping out on Poppy, being calm, like, all right, this is what you're doing, all right. Well, that's not what I ordered, sir. I ordered a ham, I ordered a turkey and cheese sandwich, right? And addressing it like that, but not meeting the same energy of the beast. Again, you're God, you're nobility. You're the best thing on earth. You're the highest form of love. You're the highest form of creativity. You're the highest form of your ancestors created mathematics, right? Geometry, astronomy, right? Magic, right? Herbology, working with roots, hoodoo, right? Voodoo, connected with ancestors, right? They communicated with the dead, made temples for the dead, the first burial people who made burials, etc., etc. Escape from slavery, right? Story of Harriet Tubman. These are things that people actually did, right? Nat Turners of the world, right? Of that time. These are things that people actually did. These are things that are in you. But even Nat Turner was on his Christian shit, on his biblical shit, like, yo, let me use this Bible as a magical tool to inspire my people to uprise. Even Malcolm X. I mean, most people nowadays, right? If you look on the internet, they wouldn't allow Detroit Red to turn into Malcolm X, right? Because they'd be so busy bashing Detroit Red and talking shit about Detroit Red and talking about how Detroit Red was an aspect of toxic masculinity. You know what I'm saying? That would be the verbiage today. Okay. So we have to learn to have grace with people. We have to realize that we too are flawed, that we too have issues, that we too have forgiven, right? That we too have let things go. The heaviness of trauma is separating you from your true self, which is the all, which is access to all the wisdom of the universe, which is access to all the power of the universe. You should be a walking, living God in 2024. People are talking about Biden, Trump, this and that. Okay, that's cool. I get it. All right. But you should be walking in your own path. You should be the president of your own life. You should be a monument, an example, a living example of God on earth. That's the whole goal. The Cometians, right? The people of Kemet, the Egyptians, the goal was to become an Asar. What is Osir? Osir is, Osir or Osiris is the god of the underworld. The underworld is the astral world or the subconscious. The subconscious is, again, what runs your circulation, your breathing, right? The regeneration of your bones, the regeneration of your nails, etc., etc. When you cut your hair, if your hair still grows back, right? All these things are under control of your subconscious, even the breathing that you're breathing now. So that is more powerful than your conscious mind, than all your books that you've read. And that's what you have to learn to tap into. And if you could do that in 2024, then you'll be safe from whatever happens. Even if the world collapses, I promise you, you'll be good. This is coming from a nigga that was in prison, that was incarcerated amongst hyenas and shit like that, right? And killers, right? And whatever. And me studying some of these principles, right, protected me, got me out early, right? Had miracles happen in these situations, financially and even there, I was even in prison. Nigga was abundant. All right, with nigga, I was working in the mess hall. Even in prison, my nigga, I was abundant. But at that time, I was a prayer warrior too. So it's really not just about the path, right? It's about you. And I'm not saying I'm going back to Christianity because of the principles or whatever. That's something I'm never going to do, right? I might, maybe when I'm like 80 or something, you know, because I need some place to be buried, you know, whatever. You know, there's right now there's no temples or places where I could go be buried in a ancient Cometian fashion, which is what I would prefer. But you know, maybe that time I'll step in or whatever, and I'll see Jesus's Heru, you know, and I'll see you know, their version of God or Jehovah as Obatala or Aser, and I'll repurpose it for my own benefit, which is what I do now. I might, me personally, I'll sometimes go to church 4 or 5 times in a year just to get the choir and just to get that inspiration in me. right? And just to feel that energy of song, because we are a people of song. We are a people of dance. We are a people of music. We are a people where we stomp our feet and we connect to the earth, the mycelium network of the earth, and we assist the earth, right? We assist Daughter Earth in providing food, fruit, and vegetation and animals for us to eat. We are part of the circle of life. But if you do not realize you are part of the circle of life and you are here to nurture that God force within you, then you will be coming back here again to do it again. You hate white people? Okay, next life, you're going to come back as a Caucasian. And you're going to come back as a Caucasian who has a strong love for Black culture. And you don't know why. You hate women? Okay, women ain't shit. All right, you're going to come back here again as a woman. Right? With a strong love for men and manhood. You might be an aggressive type of woman, still have that type of energy, right? You hate men, you hate women, right? Same thing. You're going to come back as a woman. You're going to come back as a man. You're going to come back at whatever you hate, whatever you despise here on earth, whatever you are not one with and connected with. You're going to have to go through the experience so that you can connect with it. You hate animals? Okay, you're going to come back as an animal, as a dog, as a cat. Because this world isn't all about experience. This is a light and sound show, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't real. This isn't real. What do you call real? Electrical signals that are interpreted by your brain? Word to Morpheus, right? This isn't real life. This isn't real life. So I just want to drop this off. There's a video I did before this, 2024, where I went into detail with everything, how to set up an altar, how to meditate, how to do shadow work, how to do sex magic, right? The 5, for me, what I believe are the 5 pillars that will get you. And when it comes to money, all this shit will just do your spiritual work and money will start to come. I promise you. Don't leave the church of prosperity preaching to come into the occult or come into esoteric spirituality to do prosperity preaching. This ain't what this is really about, right? Don't leave the church to find love for love and come here and the only thing you want to do is get a spell to find love. This ain't what this path is about. This path is about you being one with the divine, one with God, one with the universe, and being able to act just like the sun, shine, bring warmth, bring light, bring energy, bring power, bring healing, right? And bring your purpose, whatever that purpose is, and learn what that is. And take the time, instead of worrying about what these fucking celebrities are doing, instead of being in everybody's business, right? Instead of scrolling social media all day, to learn. This has been one of my most abundant years, simply because I learned how to work the stock markets and do puts and calls and what to invest in. And what I invest in is pretty much the future. And I've been doing well based on my spiritual insight and the clairaudience that I get on which stock to pick. But I still had to take time to study the stock market. I could have been watching hours of Netflix. I could have been playing video games for hours. I still had to nurture my soul with my spiritual energy. And your spiritual energy is based on what you focus on. Your spiritual energy is based on what you focused on. So if you think everything is a conspiracy and you scared of everything, then that's what's going to reflect on your life. And that's going to be more and more in 2024. Because it's a build and destroy year. And you will destroy yourself. No one will do that for you. Not the government, not your family, not the aliens. Nobody's hexing you. No demons, no evil spirits. You are going to destroy yourself if you are not focused on building yourself, if you are not focused on regenerating yourself, if you're not tapping into your true self, if you are not healing these blocks of trauma, because that's all that is. If you hate women, that's trauma. If you hate men, that's trauma. If you hate people of other races, that's trauma. When you're a baby, babies don't care. Babies will go hug a young baby will go hug a white baby in a minute, and a white baby will go hug a black baby in a minute. That doesn't exist. because they just came from the astral plane. They just came from the higher realms. A kid will tell you, oh, mommy, he's fat or she's fat. Somebody, I remember one time, and I was so embarrassed, but I remember one time I was in the store with my daughter, and somebody and this lady went down and said, "Hi, how you doing? You look pretty, little lady." And she was like, "Daddy, her breath stink." He's like, "Daddy, her breath stink." But that's a level of honesty, right? That's godhood. That's divinity, right? Now, maybe her delivery as a child wasn't the right way, obviously, right? But that's truth. That's speaking truth. That's the true essence of who you are, right? When you see people with shit on their face, right? Do you tell them there's stuff on their face? Boogers in their nose? Or do you just sit there and talk to them? Just because you don't know them, you ain't going to say nothing because you're scared of their response. Are you God or you a pussy? You talking about all this shit happened because of a Netflix movie. And really, I'm going to get into that too soon. Leave the World Behind. I just watched it recently. And it's really, Leave the World Behind is really a story of Christ consciousness. It's really about Christ consciousness at the end of the day, which is what I'm talking about in a roundabout way. But are you going to go through your crossroads and do the difficult things? Are you going to take the time out to do the things that are not fun, that are not entertaining? And for me, if you want to make things entertaining, that may seem boring, add some music to it. Whether it be if you're studying something, add some motherfucking jazz, add some binaural beats, put on some 70s music, put on some isochronic tones, right? Make it as enjoyable as possible. Take what I've been doing lately myself is using the Pomodoro method. Take 30 minutes, right, to do something, stop, and go back in, right? Heal yourself, heal your body, heal your trauma. Go back and face it, right? Make peace with it. Make peace with the person who hurt you. Make peace with the parents or the people in the family or whoever hurt you or the boyfriend or the ex-girlfriend. Make peace and learn from that experience and move forward. Don't hold on. Don't bring that baggage to anybody else. Become the best version of you, and everything you want in life will manifest. I promise you. The money will come. The success will come. The woman, the man will come. The options will come. The opportunities will come. And of course, do your spiritual work, your root work, right? Your candle work, your shadow work, right? Your whatever, right? That's part of this path as well. But don't neglect, right, any of it, because it's all important. And it's all going to lead to your growth. And this winter months, I'm telling you, if you could come up with a plan to meditate each day and start visualizing not what you want, right? The big house, the big car, the flying on private jets. I'm not saying don't visualize those things, but I am staying focused on, step by step. What is your needs? Focus on your needs, right? And then once you focus on your needs, then focus on your wants, right? But focus on what you need first, right? We in America, so everybody thinks they're going to hit the lottery tomorrow, right? Everybody thinks that they're going to bag a millionaire tomorrow. Doesn't work like that, right? You attract what you are, not what you want. So focus on becoming the best version of yourself, and you'll attract the best versions of yourself, not just in your relationships, but in your friendships, right? In your family relations, even the ones that you hate. You'll be the light. Let them see God in you walking on earth. And in turn, even if they are, and of course, there's people you have to separate from that just don't get it or just don't respect it, right? But you should still be light, even in those areas, right? Even in your separation, right? And try not to hold, or not try, do work on not holding any heaviness for these situations. And the best way to do that is to change the energy around your thoughts and ideas. So this is what 2024 is about, folks. Again, there's going to be a lot of distractions. They're coming out with all these movies, Civil War and this and that, and the election, and all these movies that are going to be designed to put you in fear. All these movies that are going to trigger you and attack your trauma. You already know what social media is about. I signed up for Threads. And the threads, literally the algorithm is sending friend requests, and I'm not sending shit. So I'm looking at this, I'm like, yo, I just signed up. I didn't send anybody any friend requests or attachments. It's literally like so and so accepted your friend request, so and so accepted your friend request. I'm like, I didn't send nobody no friend request. All right. So be careful with that social media. You know, I went on Threads. The first thing they did was show me a gender war post. Almost every time I go in there, they gender war post me or some shit to try to trigger me. You got to be careful. This is why you got to heal your trauma, because this terrestrial world and the people behind the scenes are working against you. They're working against you. They know how to trigger you. They know you got issues with men. They know you got issues with women. They know you got issues with people of other races and cultures, right? Clean up your social media. Clean up your media in general. I'm not saying don't enjoy yourself and watch things that are entertaining, but make sure that at least you can learn something, or at least you're getting laughs at the very least, right? At least you're getting laughs or you're learning something, right? But don't give in to fear off Netflix movies or, you know, Civil War movies or whatever, right? We in a space and time now. I was just watching What If, the What If Marvel series. And, you know, they were talking like, it was talking about like 1607, the creation of America. And, you know, they had one episode where they had a Native American, quote unquote, Indian, Indigenous Americans, right? Whatever you want to call it. But basically repurposing the whole, you know, Trail of Steers story when, you know, the conquistadors, right? People from Spain came to America and put them on the Trail of Tears. So they repurposed the story. And that's where, you know, they had superpowers and they were able to save themselves. And then at the end of the episode, right, the character, I believe her name was Kalari, right, went to the queen, right, and was like, yo, I don't want to destroy you. Your heart is my heart, right? I'm trying to help. I want to help you. You know, I want to show you how to be God. I want to show you how to be a divine being. And this is something that the Moors did. This is something that Africans did, right? The Cometians, the Atlanteans, all these cultures, right? This is something that they did. Show people how to live. We see it during the whole riot thing, the whole or riots, uprising, whatever you want to call it. You'll see melanated people still want to hug the cops, still want to be one. That's who we truly are. But if you're not on this path, and if you're not going to be able to walk through your crossroads and change and transform, because this is a year of giving yourself a free mind, being light as a feather, or you're going to start to die slow, mentally, physically, emotionally, and even financially. All right, y'all. And remember, the year after 2024 is 2025. We're going into a 9-year. All right. So that is giving birth. So tap into that inner dragon, that inner flame, that inner fire. And that flame is representative of the sun. Be the son of man. Be the son of man. Work on what that looks like. Jesus is a myth. Yes, it is astrotheology at the end of the day. But there is lessons even in that story. The same lessons that are in the story of Haru fighting Set. There are lessons in those stories. Don't throw out your Bible just because you came on this pathway. All right? There's lessons in everything, really. Every form of mythology, there's lessons in it that you can learn from. And they're all going to guide you to oneness at the end of the day. The Tao, you know, Islam, whatever, they're all going to guide you to oneness at the end of the day. Abrahamic and non-Abrahamic religions. So figure out what that looks like for you. And figure out what traumas are separating you from oneness. That should be your homework assignment tonight going into the new year. Peace, power, and prosperity. I got to do this reading in 5 minutes. I'll talk to y'all another time. If I don't speak to y'all, Happy New Year's. Leave some encouragement in the comments for somebody. All right. Leave some inspiration for somebody. Leave some light for somebody in the comments if you care to. All right. I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me. This has been a great year for me on YouTube. I eclipsed, you know, the 2,000 mark, which was one of my goals. And yeah, you know, I'm really happy and I'm really excited about the new year. I'm excited for the membership. We're going to do a lot of membership. We're going to do a lot of group meditations together. All right. So I'm setting that up. That should be by the next time y'all see me. That will be there. All right. And we're going to do a lot of group meditations. I'm going to give y'all a lot of more supplements, a lot more things to help you on your spiritual journey. All right. So tap in with me. I love y'all. All right. And, you know, I hope you love me too. Peace, power, and prosperity again. Rob Blackstone.